Hello everybody, this is Brian again with my 2019 Infiniti Signature Edition Q50 S rear-wheel drive 3.0T. Yeah, got that out there. So I haven't made any videos really recently about the car, and I just haven't been motivated, but things have been going well. The car's been running really well. Everything I've done to it's been solid. The car is just an amazing car, and I love my car, and I always say that I love my car and it's running great. But today I just decided, or this evening, I just wanted to get out, and I went to go get some food, and I was like, man, I haven't run my car really in a couple of months. And the downside of that is these cars and many cars, modern cars, it is my opinion, and it is stated to an extent, that they learn your driving style, and they learn if you've just been putting around, the car is going to set the ECU for just putting around. Even though you have different shift modes and you have different tunes, the ECU is still learning and adapting to your learning, to your driving style. So yeah, so I haven't been driving the car hard at all, but I've want to do some things today, and then maybe a few days ago too, when I was traveling out of town, I did a 60 to 130 when I had the room to do it. And again, just out of the blue, I was like, man, I'm gonna do a 60 to 130 and rip this off, and the car was not used to it. So and I've seen many times people running 4, 5, 6 runs, and their faster runs come from when they're later down the line, when they've you think the car heats up and the car becomes less performance oriented, but with these ECU, I'm thinking each and every time the parameters get turned up a little bit as the ECU's going, hey, yeah, he's calling for some more power now, and he's not driving like a grandmother. So, but anyways, let me switch hands here. So I went out tonight, and it's actually really pleasant. And I think the humidity is low, the DA is low, and I'm gonna open up my app on my phone and look at my runs. So really deceiving, but I want to talk to everybody and be truthful. I do not stretch the truth on anything. So my car was months and months ago at a 3.91, and that was the fastest that I could crank out at that time, and that was with massive wheel spin. That was like with 30 feet of just tire smoke, and just standing in it and continuing to just get it and just go and try to get my best time. So 3.91. And today, if I've looked at my app, and I'll go ahead and while I have you here, I'll look at my phone, but I think the fastest that I could crank out was a 4.1. I don't know, 4.10, 4.15, but a 4.1. And so I want to share with everybody, I was really getting frustrated with my tire spin. I've got, upgraded 285 Toyo 888Rs in the rear, and I've attempted to buy some other tires to cut that down, man. But the last time, I think I got pulled over by the police in DFW airport, and I just lit the tires up for 60 plus feet trying to do the launch control and get that. So. And then I was still like maybe 4.1, 4.0 at that time. So, but yeah, so I'm gonna get my camera out of the shade. And so yeah, so 4.1. But I want to share with everybody and just update. I'm trying to do a new approach to this, and so I've just ridiculous wheel spin. So I've got a full tank tonight. Well, I had a full tank of gas, 93. And then I put one of my stock Infiniti Q50 wheels in the back with the tire. So that's about 55 pounds, if I recall correctly. So I strapped that in the rear. I'm just trying to add weight to the rear of the car as far as back as I can to just try to help some of that weight transfer, because it's just been ridiculous with the amount of wheel spin, okay? But tonight, and I can't shoot video because it's dark and I have too many things going on, and that's when I mess things up. So I had the rear tire back there, and I have a couple of different maps, two different maps that Hussein has set up for me, and I'm not quite sure which one is which. Well, there's actually three. There's a 14.5 boost red sport, and then there's a 18.5 kill map, and then there's an 18.5 kill map boost by gear. So I'm not real sure, and I haven't talked to Hussein in a while, and so I'm not gonna keep continuing to call him up or email him and try to, figure out what's up. I mean, I'm pretty much done tuning, and I'm happy with the car, the way it's performing. But yeah, so I tried the two different maps, and my 18.5 non-boost by gear map was the fastest. And I actually didn't have much wheel spin tonight. I had a little bit, but you want a little bit of wheel spin. You don't want a dead hook, because then the car will typically bog down a little bit unless you have it just tuned just perfectly, and it's a perfect night, and then it just hooks, and it's you have 600-700 horsepower, but I'm closer to 500 wheel horsepower, and so I'm not a 600 or 700 horsepower car. So I'm trying to think of everything. So I'll show you my phone, and we'll look at those times, and I'm gonna look at them and data zap and make sure everything's still going good with the car. Yeah, so I just found that interesting. The car hooked pretty well. I lowered my tire pressure this time. I've lowered it down to like 25 before, and I think I was potentially damaging my tire. People are like, lower your tire pressure, do a burnout, and I make my voice sound like that because it's just over and over and over. People don't have a clue what tire, what tire needs to be done. These are not pure drag racing tires, and even some drag radials don't need big burnouts. But these Toyo 888Rs do not really do well with big burnouts, and they don't do well, and they're not recommended to lower down to 25 or 22 psi. So I lowered them down, I think, to 31 psi cold, and so they were hovering about 32, 33 when I did these runs. So, but they hooked up. The car felt a little slower, detuned. Maybe the ECU has detuned the car a little bit until I start racing it around again, or I take it to the drag strip and run it over and over and over and over again, and then readjust that ECU. But I just wanted to share this update. I just was inspired to go out. I haven't been inspired to make a lot of videos in the last month or two. And I just don't want to make content to make content. But tonight I was kind of like, yeah, I want to get out and run the car. Also, I love my car, and I don't want to beat up on my car. So there's just maybe some months where I'm like, man, I drove the shit out of it last month, and man, I love my car, and I don't want to continue just to beat up on it. But then you don't beat up on it for a while. Then you're like, man, maybe I need to go run some runs. The car should be able to handle it. I don't advise anyone just to excessively just beat up on these Q50, Q60 cars. And then, you're just going to wear things out a little faster if you do that. If you got the money to do that and you want to do that, fine, go ahead. But I'm not looking to dump a bunch of more money into my car right now. So depending on how things go in the future. But yeah, so let me turn my camera around, and we're just going to look at my phone real quick, and so we can just look at some numbers real fast, and then the 6130 and a couple of those 0 to 60. And so hang tight real quick, and we'll get to that. Okay, so here I am in my draggy, had that going, and so we're going to go to, I went to the me, logged in as me, and go to my account, and then we're going to go into history. So I still have quite a few runs logged in there. Hopefully we can see all this on the video. Let me lower my camera down just a tad. Okay, so it was these last 3 runs that I did. So we got a 4-2-3, a 4-2-1, and those were on the boost. I'm pretty sure those were on the 18.5 kill boost by gear. And then this was the last one that I switched out of the boost by gear and went back to just the kill map, and that's a 4.10 seconds. So, I'm feeling the right amount of wheel spin. You want a little bit. It wasn't excessive. I don't think it hurt my speed. And but again, with this new approach that I was trying to limit my wheel spin, I had my rear tire, wheel and tire in the trunk, and then I had a full tank of gas. I wanted to try all this additional weight to see if that helped. Obviously it did, and I don't know if additionally that it just killed the power too. Robbed some power. Obviously weight does, take away some of the power. Your, 60-foot times are going to be a little slower, but you don't know until you try. Then also too, what I did. So also what I did is I wanted to try this new approach. Let me take my light. So I wanted to try this new approach, and I wanted to try to short shift the car. With that wheel spin, I remember at Jotech, and they're very experienced and seasoned veterans when it comes to drag racing, high horsepower cars. I think it was Tony that told me, he was like, Brian, if you have a lot of wheel spin in your car, get in first gear and get out as quick as you can, and then hopefully second gear can pull you the rest of the way. So I was like, a year I hadn't tried that approach, and I was like, well, today I think I'm going to try that approach. So I tried to, as soon as I could reasonably get out of first gear a little early, I shifted into second gear and then tried to let second gear pull all the way up to about 6,300 RPM, 6,400 RPM, and then shift. And these cars just don't make power all the way up to 7,000 RPMs. So I tried a different approach and a different philosophy tonight, and just a combination of things probably just didn't work out right. So I'm at a 4.2 and a 4.1 0 to 60, which is kind of not where I want to be. Was wanting to get to 3.8, 3.9. 3.8 was the best I really wanted to achieve with this rear-wheel drive 3.0 T car, tuned, 93 fuel. But just tonight it was 4.1 was the best I could do. Yeah. So let me again go back to my phone real quick. So there's my 0 to 60 times. It's a jump backwards. So let me go 60 to 130 run was. So 60 to 130 on the highway, and we'll look at the DA for that day, was 11.47. That was just while I was going to Palestine, Texas for a photography job, and I just hit a flat stretch of road, and I was like, yep, well, here's a good time to do it. Put it down into sport mode and manual shift, in third gear at about 45 miles per hour, maybe 50 miles per hour, and just nailed it. Maybe it should have been second gear, higher RPM, but I just don't want to, over rev the car. So let's look at this in more detail. Well, actually, let's see here. So let's see, that day was negative 3,280. I don't know if it's reading right. That looks like 32,000. No, 32,000. Yeah, I don't know if that's right or accurate. But there's my, hopefully the camera's focusing on, so 6130 was 11.47. So I don't know how stellar that is or how fast that is. I think a stock Red Sport's around the 12.1 or something like that. So it's definitely an improvement. So there's the information on the 60 to 130. I'm sure if I did those 3 or 4 times in a row, that I could get that down to maybe an 11.2. That's just me assuming, and I know the car pretty well, so 11.2, but right now it's 11.47. Mustang GT 5.0s 2018 to 2020s are about 11.2 to about 11.4, so it'd be a really close race. A 2020 or 2019 C7 Corvette with the V8 and probably 500 horsepower, and it being so much lighter and very similar horsepower, but lighter and way more sleek and air resistant, or air not as much air resistance, so they can fly a lot faster, 60 to 130. Those are like 10.9, 10.9 to a straight up 11 on a good day. So yeah, make a video and share my experience. A little disheartening that I didn't, nail out a 3.8. It's definitely not as humid out right now as it typically is here in Texas. So I thought it was a really good night, and I had the extra weight in there, and I was thinking, man, this is where I'm gonna get a 3.8 because was currently my fastest time was a 3.91. But yep, I went backwards. So it is what it is. I'm planning on keeping this car hopefully for a while more and be able to test some of this stuff out more and do some more runs as I travel to do more photography further away, and I go on some of these longer roads to Oklahoma or to the Panhandle. I can get on some vacant roads and push the car a little bit more and push it in over and over and over again and see if things change. So yeah, if you liked what I talked about today and you found it interesting, consider like and subscribe button and share. I mean, I don't know who you'd share this with really, and maybe another Q50, Q60 owner. But yeah, and I appreciate everybody. I'm close to hitting, I think, 1,600 subscribers, which is again another milestone for me, and I like milestones. And so I appreciate the people that are continuing to watch my videos and continue to watch them, and the people that may be a lot of new people that just come in and see a couple of videos. Hey man, I appreciate you too, and I like to hear from everybody as much as as people are polite and kind and just have a good conversation. So other than that, I'm gonna let everybody go, and I'll catch you on an additional video here hopefully in the near future when I have some more good content. Have a good night, a good day, and I'll catch you again on another video. Bye-bye.